Hello, good evening everyone. Evening when I'm recording, or sorry, streaming. Could obviously be different depending on when you're joining, but thank you for those who are live. It is good to be here as always. Let me check something here real quick. Let's see. If I can get someone in the chat to confirm that you can hear me. My streaming software is real laggy, but I do believe things are working even though the software is appearing laggy at the moment, but let me know. In any case, I do appreciate those who have joined live, and if you're watching this afterwards, again, I am switching up the schedule. As I've announced the last couple of videos, I will be streaming like usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30 US Central, but this week it's actually Monday, Thursday, and Friday. On Thursday we're doing a special event. I'm going to be playing some Rome 2 battles. It's going to be sub-commanders. I'm going to be doing it live with the Sol Invictus group over on his Gathering Stone Discord, so make sure you go check that out. And we can confirm from the live folks that you can hear me, and if they can hear me, it means that those of you watching this afterwards can hear me too. So good. I don't have to edit out some kind of botched intro here, although editing myself out is usually a good idea. Now, Yuan Bo campaign. We were pushing to get to the Southern Sentinels. We had some tougher than expected fights with one Skink Moses, aka Tehenhauin, and we are having to replace some troops, so we'll be here for a couple of turns. And we had to put together a small army to hold on to the Great Turtle Isle. And then someone had mentioned to me that we might be getting assaulted by lizards by Hexotl, which may be yeah, okay. That's probably a result of me having built the tower. I'm assuming that's like a built-in challenge that CA gives you, and I obviously wasn't totally prepared for it. It's probably a good thing that Mother Ostankia showed up and put the ogres in their place, because now I'm probably going to have to deal with these guys. Now, I'm looking at our relationship here with Mother Ostankia. We've got military, or so we got a trade agreement, and we've got military access, yeah. It'd be better if we had more with them. I could join a war with them if that's applicable, but I don't have any wars that they don't at this point, so I don't really have a way to go about it, but we might get an opportunity to do so. I really don't want to fight with Mother Ostankia, so we might have to kind of just, you know, hand them some cash every now and then to keep them happy, but we certainly can't afford to fight now. Hexotl, I look at the army I have here. This army is not amazing, but we have a pretty solid garrison here. It's going to take some pretty substantial lizard forces, which this may be, you know, and I don't know, maybe they keep growing too. But it's going to take some fairly substantial forces of the lizardmen to overcome us here. It looks like I built the one that came with less crossbows, which is probably a bad idea. But this one does give me more halberds, which honestly is probably good against the lizards. So I'll take what I can get. I also don't know where those armies are going to go. They could attack Maku Peaks. We'll see. We'll just have to see what happens with the lizards there. That kind of makes me think that we might ought to go ahead and... I can't do any global recruiting here right now. I can do some allied recruiting, which would get me some units faster. So something like that would be useful. So... what else can we do? Is there any more allied recruiting that I can do? New world colonies? There is. And I've only got, well, I've got 38 with them. Honestly, like, just grab another halberd and then these huntsmen. That would be useful against the lizardmen. So there we go. We'll put together whatever army I can there to assist. I'm going to go ahead and say hi to the folks who are live just real quick. Archernut, Senshibat, thank you all for joining. Appreciate you. Warner, thanks for being a moderator. Thanks for being so awesome. And then James Moore is here as well. Thank you. The tree-hugging elves. Yeah, that's definitely the Mother Ostankia faction. I don't know, though. If you're Mother Ostankia and you hug a tree, that thing is going to, like, rot and wilt. I don't think it can take that kind of... I mean, that'd be like me hugging a tree, right? Like, imagine getting hugged by that kind of an ugly mug. I mean, there's only so much nature can take. We're gonna take high damage from this? Really? I don't think so, but I guess I have to fight this. Yeah. Imre T, thanks for joining. Royal, thanks for joining. Yeah, so we've got a lot to do still as Yuan Bo. I'm building the building Hexadal. I believe we started the one in the Great Turtle Isles, which means I better be ready to defend the Great Turtle Isles as well. We need to take the Southern Sentinels, and then again we'll have to defend that, and then we need to move to the Star Tower. Once we get all of those, we will be able to work our way into the final. Oh, it was because it was a settlement battle. They're giving the AI really good chances because of settlement battles. I don't really understand how a settlement battle really makes anything better for the AI, I guess, since you get access to towers and stuff. But it also makes the AI act very stationary, which generally speaking is going to lead to easy ways to get lots of kills on the AI. So I think it kind of just depends whether it should actually be a boon to them or not. I do only have peasant archers in this army, so it's not going to be near as dangerous as an army full of crossbowmen, or worse yet, celestial crossbowmen. Celestial crossbowmen would be absolutely savage, as they have armor piercing. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for towers. Towers will just start to shoot us and be annoying. I'm gonna move all the way up here. But in the meantime, those Croxigors, we're gonna use them for a little bit of, like, what do you call it, croquet or yard bowling? I mean, however we want to go about this. But I'm gonna use them as target practice, let you all see that. Ooh, caught that one right with his gut. I'll tell you what, though, if he would just stay on the ground, that hide would make a fantastic set of boots. Would go really nice on my leaders. So no, don't leave, don't leave. I mean, we'll have the skink skin here, but the skink skin, you know, is much more nice and soft. You know, we can use that for all kinds of stuff. But I need the Croxigor leather. There we go. Oh no, I thought he was going to be our tribute. Apparently they don't like getting hit with cannonballs. I don't know what the heck their problem is. I mean, who doesn't like catching a cannonball with your belly? Probably feels great. And if by great, I mean terrible. Of course, that's assuming you feel it at all. Might be rather sudden and violent. That's the wrong unit there. There we go. I'm going to move all these units up so that hopefully they can get some shots. I moved up my bowman over here so we could push back that Cold One Rider. I'm not really thrilled about having to deal with the Cold One Rider. We've got a dino coming this way. Let's make it the focus of our efforts here. And then cannon is still taking pot shots at the Croxigors, and we finally killed a couple, so Croxigor leather is going to be available. We now need to take out this Feral Stegodon and Cold One Riders, who could potentially cause me a lot of damage here, as Jade Warriors are not going to be effective in the least against these units, and they have armor piercing damage, so I'm going to have to focus a lot of missile fire over here, as well as back that up with some peasant long spears. But as you can see, these cheap peasants with second-rate pole arms are not going to be the perfect answer to an angry dinosaur attack, but hopefully they can hold them long enough for me to take care of some business. Now the Croxigors decided that they would rather take their chances in melee. Probably a smart move, all things considered, but their chances in melee didn't turn out to be much better because the cannon does not care for the lives of my own men and fires regardless. I'm gonna see if we can drive that Feral Stegodon away here. I'm gonna poke some more shots into it on the way out. Hopefully we can shatter it and get rid of it altogether. You have some Saurus warriors with shields. Not just any Saurus warrior, but with their mighty shields. Hopefully it's not a bunch of shields like Gorok, because holy cow, Gorok has himself a great shield. I'm gonna have my peasant archers dump their ammunition. Alright, we did shatter the dinosaur. We can get rid of the Cold One Riders at this point. I do see a tower dead ahead. Let's maybe bring that down. I have my lion as well. Pull that in. Oof, yeah, I got some good shots onto the building there. Building's probably not actually causing me that much damage. let's use the ability on our lion here to kind of soften these guys up a little. The Saurus warriors will resist that a little because they have better armor. I don't think that particular spell is amazing against armor. I think it's probably rather so-so. Alright, the Cold One Riders have had it from our bows. Let's move this force forward and go capture this point over here. How did I... Oh, I had 3 infantry units there, my bad. Let's just knock that tower down real quick. It won't be too difficult for my bowmen to do. Alright, we got the other tower down. So we've got a few lizard defenders still here in the middle, but they're taking pretty egregious losses. Oh, I forgot my lord. Just left her completely on the other side of the battle. That was awesome. Does this lord have a mount yet? Yes. Okay, I'll use this lord to get in behind enemy lines, try and do a little capture. We'll have to be careful, though. This unit really does not belong in any kind of significant combat. There we go. Got our troops headed in the right direction. And then there is a capture point we can run off to this way. So let's take the Jade Lion and help out over there. And then I'm going to take these 3 units, run to that capture point. And then I'll just kind of push up some of these units like that. There we go. No one to stop me on the back side of the settlement. It looks like these... Oh, those Cold One Riders came back for another round, but it did not end well for them. They routed before they could get back to me, and then we're about to make a capture here. Ooh, cannon getting some cheeky shots in there. Kind of barely got an angle, but it did have an angle. Go ahead and drop a little bit of magic there with the Jade Lion, help speed the passing of these poor cold-blooded fools who are well out beyond the skids here. These skinks don't really have a prayer to hold all my Jade Warriors, so I'm going to kind of just swing around them so that we can continue that capture. My lord finished a capture over here. Being approached by a couple of skink skirmishers, we'll want to avoid that. Again, only a skink cohort, but a skink cohort might be a tough match for the dragon-blooded Shugengan Lord who doesn't have a lot of upgrades or potentially not a lot of equipment. As I load in here, I'm going to get to a few comments here. James says, I love playing the Jade faction. I do too. I find them a lot of fun. I think they were a nice add to the DLC. And let's see. Royal Man says he hates lizards. Well, then that battle was for you. Croc leather is high quality, good for jackets. I mean, hey, Croxagores make an excellent jacket. Waterproof. You know, you can enjoy your nights out and in Wei Jin. Don't have to worry about that weather anymore. Like when Zinch cooks up a thunderstorm to change up your night out in Wei Jin, that Croxagore jacket, man, it comes in handy. Keeps the weather off you. Probably has some imbued magical powers too. Nidibus, thanks for joining us tonight too. Thanks for being such a long-time channel member, as well as Warner and Senshi. Appreciate the support. He says, you need that new bird person unit to kill the towers. Yeah, it's the Crowmen. Yeah, the Crowmen. And Legamus, thanks for being a channel member too. Says Yuan Bo. Oh yeah, well, thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate you. We finished our first battle here. We took another one of the settlements that's being held by the puppet faction here, the Defenders of the Great Plan. We will finish them off soon enough. This next one has some obsidian that I would really like to get a hold of. Like those trade goods. Our income is looking way better now. Way better. Looks like the wall is safe for now as well, which is good news indeed. Attrition, suffer from chaos, waste, attrition. We probably want some recruitment capability in some of these. I think it'd be good to have one that can build up all the way to the top in terms of artillery. It'd be good to have this one that builds up the Celestial Barracks. We don't have a high enough tier settlement for that yet, but we can build these other buildings to help in the meantime. Nagash asked why I play on large unit scale. Warhammer 3 was actually balanced for the large unit scale, so that's why I played on the large unit scale. Plus, when I put it on the big one, the pathfinding is really bad. Some of the maps aren't sized right for it, and then it also just kills your frames per second. Now, on the newer games, say like Pharaoh or Troy, I don't have as much issue with it. Those games are actually balanced around the ultra-size units, and I don't know that they necessarily redesigned the maps any better to hold the ultra-size units, but it doesn't tank the frames per second near as bad, and it does seem like the game balancing takes it into account. But yeah, I don't feel like the balancing is very good on the ultra unit sizes for the game, so I like rolling it on large on Warhammer 3. But I mean, hey, to each their own. If you like it better there, then go for it. Definitely go for it. But good question. Wiggy Egg, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. And then Legamus is wondering whether I think Yuan Bo is now the best duelist. He may be. Like, again, if we're talking single player, he may be. But you all, if you want, can name off, if you're watching this afterwards, you can go down to the comments and name off who you think the best duelist is. And again, we're going to say single player context. Multiplayer is a whole different thing. And then if you're here live, of course, feel free. But I'm sitting here thinking, Yuan Bo, he is really good, especially with that executioner thing. I'm trying to think of the other duelist out there, like another famous one obviously would have been, what's the pretty boy with his cape? Why is his name escaping me at the moment? Sigvald. Sigvald would definitely have been a very competent duelist. I don't know if he's meant as a duelist, and he's also kind of a spellcaster, but I would think that Archaon can put down a pretty big beating as well. So I don't know. And Diogo's asking which of the new lords that I like the best. Which faction do I like playing the best? Probably Mother of Stankia. Like, lords specifically that I like using in combat? I mean, definitely Yuan Bo. The Changeling was really cool and a whole lot of fun, but it's probably just my anti-demon bias as to why I don't like him as much. But I mean, the Changeling did have some really neat like features and stuff that it added to the campaign. So yeah, I would think Sigvald would be indeed a very dangerous duelist. Vlad von Karstein would be a very dangerous duelist. Especially because of the way Vlad can heal, he becomes exceptionally dangerous. And then you can also get equipment with him. Like, so for instance, could you imagine Vlad with the Sword of Cain and like all the healing stuff? Holy moly, that'd be a mess. That would be an absolute mess trying to get rid of him. Now, of course, Yuan Bo with the Sword of Cain would also be terrifying, but you know how Vlad is with his ability to just sit there and tank and just heal and heal. So it could get a little crazy. The old Vladdy Daddy. It gave us way more casualties there than I feel like we should have had to suffer.
Many feet, one purpose.
I'm gonna try and go ahead and pre-beat down some of these vampire armies. It looks like they're gonna run away, which is very courageous of them. So what I'm in fact gonna do is come back here and lay an ambush and see if we can get lucky and pick these guys up in an ambush. But we are now surrounded by 3 vampire armies. Fortunately for me, most of them are garbage. So I'm not super worried about leaving myself surrounded. I could try and come back here. Legamus mentions Lokir as well. Lokir is also a very capable duelist. Scarbrand, now that's a good point. Scarbrand is the only reason I don't consider him a duelist is because of his large size. Yes, he's brutal, but that made me think of what the heck's his name anymore? Surprisingly good. Crap, the stupid, the original Skaven. It wasn't Skrull. It's good grief. This shows you that I haven't been playing enough recently. What the heck is his name? I keep saying Tretch, but I know it's not Tretch. It's the dude with like the red colored armor. Gosh dang it. I'm gonna forget his name. Yeah, Malice is a decent duelist as well. It's metallurgy, which gives poison. Alright, there we go. So we got that. Why is his name escaping me? Queek! Yes, thank you. Goodness gracious. I mean, there's only so many names you can have as escape, and it had to be something mouse-related. Yeah, alright, Queek. That's what I was looking for, and I don't know why it was really so difficult for me to remember, but Queek is actually a pretty dangerous duelist. He got a lot of upgrades, and every time I've had to fight him in the campaign, like, he has been surprisingly tough, especially if you've upped the difficulty, and he has been way tougher than I remember. Like, he's definitely picked himself up some worthwhile upgrades. So he's not the same old turn and run Skaven that we've been used to in the past. Ooh, armor for war drums could be good. Let's do that.
Even now.
And then we've got a garrison lord not moved that I'm not worried about. Unassigned skill points for my alchemist. We took care of all the big magic up there. We do have this resistance, which is usually good. And then enhanced metallurgy is going to be good. Let's see if there's any more. Yep, there are more skill points. This one is a Caravan master, but I guess I can't do their skill points. It's not letting me open that at the moment. That's kind of weird.
Master of the meteor winds.
Yuan Bo. Alright, so Yuan Bo, we have picked up these special skills that I wanted with him. This judge one now is going to give extra targeting range for the executioner. That's going to be useful. And then I'm thinking Scarred Veteran is always a good way to go. So we've continued to improve Yuan Bo.
Fit for a prince.
Here's our Caravan Master. It wouldn't let me select this for some reason, but when I click on the button, it lets me. So, alright, I'm going to do Wayfinders. I always like Wayfinders because it reduces your ambush chance. Anybody who's wondering why I picked that one first, less ambushes means you survive, which means you come home with money from your caravan. So that is the basic logic that I'm rolling with on that. It says we have building upgrades available to us here. I do want to keep growing Wei Jin up to its full potential. At Hexotl, I'm remiss to build anything else at the moment because we have these lizards spawned up on us, so we probably want to skip that. We can dispatch a caravan. I've got this rather decent caravan here. And let's crank up the cargo and see if we can rack up some treasure. And this looks like a pretty valuable route here. What is our caravan route taking us to? What's the name of this one here? It's the Erengrad. Is it really Erengrad? And it's held by the Ecstatic Legions? Yeah, I guess so. I thought we did select the caravan. Wait, what? I was confused. Is the screen confused? Okay, there we go. Dispatch. Alright, caravan dispatched. What's up, mama? Spread some control there.
Child of the Nine.
I do believe we are going to be good to go. Celestial Patchy has not moved on this turn, but he has movement order assigned to him. I want to say I was trying to reduce the risk of rebellion. We do have some stuff we could build, though. Let's see here. This is the trade tariff one. Need trade goods. Let's go ahead and focus a little effort in on these settlements. I'm going to need to keep an eye on our Confederation thing. I can actually probably confederate Miao Ying here quickly.
General.
I need to pick a good mission for Celestial Patchy. I I'd love to kit his army out significantly with like just bruising good units, and maybe send him out to tame some of the folks outside the wall. It's always hard to keep that area tame. But we also have the ogres, but as of now, the ogres are not really the threat that we need to be concerned with. So, we'll see. Senshi, I hope the casino turns around for you. The casino of air salt pennies can be a rough place. It can be a giving place. You just never know. Just never know. Alright, Goldtooth wants a trade agreement. That's fine. I don't have any reason to fight Goldtooth at the moment, so we'll take whatever trade income we can get. Let's see here. I'm excited to see how this one turns out, and I'm also excited to get some of the higher tier units, though it seems like our growth has been rather slow. Okay, so the vampires did come back looking for us. Because remember, I hid this army. So they came after this one, but it didn't trigger the ambush, unfortunately. That would have been hilarious. But we still get the opportunity to defeat all their armies. What worries me, though, is that their armies will be starting in front of and behind me, and we are up against 4 of them. So not only did they have the 3 armies I could see, but remember that rule, folks. Beyond the fog of war is always at least 1 extra enemy army, especially when you're dealing with vampire counts. There is never only what you can see dealing with an AI vampire count army. I gotta go grab my water real quick. I'll be right back, folks. Alright, sorry, I had to grab my water there. Yeah, this deployment is not great for me, but we can make it work, I think. What we are going to do is just deploy all of our troops and run to our reinforcements. The vampires who are already here will probably spawn somewhere out there in front of us. I think we can get our reinforcements together. Alright, let's give this a shot here. Start running up this way. Yeah, so they deployed way over there. Of course, we don't have to worry about artillery. I'll get all my reinforcements. This will actually be an amazingly defensible position. The only question is whether I can get my artillery any good shots from it. But it will be extremely defensible. It's a lot of vampires here too, and we've got to kill their leaders if we're going to do this efficiently. So I may actually come fight from a little further up here in this corner where I've got a little bit better angle. So if the vampires don't rush me and give me the opportunity, I'll try to deal with them up here in this corner. But otherwise, here we are moving up. They're going to want to wait on all their reinforcements to gather up, and then of course the AI is very distinct about how it likes to get all of its forces put together exactly the way it likes before it's willing to fight. So I would not be surprised if that is the case either. So here comes my units onto the battlefield. We got some long marauders rolling in. If we have any singled out flyers, we might be able to pick them off with the long marauders. Or, like, if they leave behind Helmengorst because he's really slow or something like that, you can occasionally get, like, cheeky kills. Like right here, for instance, they're probably just going to leave Gorst behind. So let me do a couple things real quick. Sorry, I gotta take care of some business here now that we've got all of our units in the battlefield. So first thing I'm going to do, and you should probably do this too, if you have to pause it, it's okay. If you don't want to and you want the challenge, that's okay too. But I like getting my units put together. So like I'm going to pull all my sword units together, I'm going to pull all my Jade Warriors together, and then I don't think I have any other types of units. Then like I'm going to try and get my missile units stacked up relatively close to each other. So again, something like this. All of my lions, I'll pull them over here, and then all my cavalry is going to be together. This will just make it easier to select my units. My flyers are over here, and then Zhao Ming obviously can be a flyer for us as well. And if we take a look here, let's get all of our leaders of movement order over into this general vicinity. We're going to set up a protective line of halberds here, but with enough room to operate our artillery. We'll have some backup units here of swordsmen that can pile into the fight as needed. We'll set up our cannons back here on this little knob. And then I think I'm going to actually kind of just hold one of these guns maybe on either flank to help pop monstrous size units who have their heads sticking up. I'm actually going to stick these back here. Let's stick the cannons a little farther forward like this. And then I've got these archers here as well. We'll stick those back there. Those could be handy. So we've given all of our units, I believe, a move order over here. So let's go ahead and get that started. But now what I'm going to do, take Zhao Ming, I'm going to transform him. And I'm going to put together kind of an assassination squad here. And I'm going to head over here and see if we can start picking off some units. Like there's a black coach. That one's probably safe, but Helman Gorst back here, to me, looks like he is at risk. I've got my Jet Lion that did not get a movement order over here. And so I'm going to take these lions like this, kind of just stack them up behind the line. Should have said behind the lion, just because that would be rather lame and probably make you all angry at me. Just gonna stack this cavalry up back here for now, so it has a movement order. Okay, so I'm gonna take the balloon up here and kind of start picking at Helman Gorst. Killing off Helman Gorst, like, just totally for free is gonna be huge. And like the dragon here has magical attacks, and there's nothing else close to, say, like these Cairn Wraiths, for instance, that are singled out here. So I'm gonna go pick them off. I should be able to crunch them really easily. Might actually go start shooting that White King. Now, Helman Gorst can heal, but he's not going to be... He's got okay-ish armor, but yeah, he's going to take a beating. Should be a savage beating at that, too. Okay, look at that. We got those Vargeist interested in us. And most of my units are going to make it to the formation, especially if you do that. So that should be a good distraction here, too. Let's go ahead and pinch Helman Gorst back here, and then I'm going to start shooting this White King, like just maybe see if I can do a little bit of damage. Yeah, see, this got the attention of some of their units, and they're going to come and face off against Zhao Ming. That's fine. This will kind of lead to a little bit of a bunch up out here. And it'll give my units a chance to fully get in position. I'm going to actually put all of my halberds onto a defensive stance so that they don't leave their positions. A little bit of damage to that White King. Oh wow, Helman Gorst is actually kind of owning me at the moment. My crowmen got a little bit savage there by Gorst. He is the ghost with the most. So I was hoping that I could just put like a quick knockout punch on him, but that does not seem like it's going to be the case. He does heal, but I could probably cycle charge him a bunch here and knock a bunch of health off of him. He's using Benel's Dense Macabre there, and he did use a heal too, so we're at least making the vampires use up their magic. And that's kind of got to use all of its own. Did my crowmen routed? How frustrating. Oh. Guess that's not totally unexpected. Alright, Zhao Ming took out a unit of Vargeist and a unit of Cairn Wraiths. We got another Cairn Wraith moving up. We got a black coach moving up too. I'm going to intercept the coach and the Wraiths with my lions with the intent of using the mass to block them from busting through my infantry and trying to hold them out here at missile range. And we got another one moving up on us right here. And let's see what my cannons are capable of hitting. I'm going to target those Cryptors over there. I guess I'm just going to have to leave Helmengorst out of it for the moment. It's not really the way that I wanted to handle that. Alright, we did manage to block the black coaches, but I actually kind of need the coach to come get stuck in my halberds a little here too, and I don't want this lion to get overextended here, which it is at the moment, so I'm going to use a little bit of magic to help bust it free. And let's let these units get behind the lions here. Slow it down. We got a lot going on here. We have a lot going on. So let's let our main lines get joined. I was hoping that these gunners could take shots at that coach, even from behind those infantry, but they're struggling. Put a hit on. And my cannons haven't really gotten any effective hits against those cryptors like I would have hoped either. Maybe I could just start shooting at their Ghoul King back there, because again, the ticket here is going to be taking out vampire leaders. Oh, I know what we can do. Well, actually, no, I don't have... We do have Final Transmutation, so Final Transmutation is actually the ticket here. See, like, once they group all their units in, then we'll hit it with the Final Transmutation, and then use our free magic here on the lion units. Final Transmutation will be extremely effective against the vampire leadership. There we go. And we'll just do our best to kind of, yeah, work. There we go. Yeah, that did tremendous damage. Just massive damage over here. I'm going to put this Jade Warrior right here just to make sure we can hold that flank. Where's my Longma Riders, by the way? Let's bring my Longma Riders and... Yeah, you can here. Let's see if we can get that Necromancer. And then let's get the next... Man, that was an insanely strong... We want to make sure and target this where we're going to get the best bang for our buck. Meaning, we want to have the most enemy single entities present as possible. And remember that they've still got a lot of reinforcements that have not reached the battle yet, so we do have to be somewhat efficient with our work here. Let's see if we can get this Necromancer. But again, if we kill their leaders, they will go down. We're struggling to get anything useful done with our cannons. Helmengorst, though, might be an appropriate and easy target. We did get a good charge off on those Necromancer, but we can't stick around there. We're going to have to move away from those spears. And again, let's look for a blob up of single entity enemy targets here. I'm going to bring an extra swordsman over here. The vampires are really pushing hard on just a single flank here, which in a lot of ways is fine. Actually, I'm going to hit my own troops a little bit there. I'm going to try and pull my lions back inside my infantry protection. I was bashing up their White King, but we'll just hold off there. Let's go take another shot at this, and then let's tell our cannons to take a... Oh, no, wrong. You take a shot at him. Let's tell the cannons to take shots at Helmengorst. He ought to be a fairly easy target. Again, we're going to try and focus out some of the leadership over here. Watch this. I only have limited magic, and I need some of it for... what do you call it, the Final Transmutation, but this is just too juicy right here. Wall of Wind and Fire. As long as I didn't target it wrong, I did. I'm going to hit my own guys a little bit, but it's not as effective against high armor, but it will absolutely roast those low armor vampire units. Our cannons are still not going to be able to get a shot at Gorst because of the awkward terrain. Let's actually get all of my Jade Lions together over here, and let's see if we can focus this White King who got behind my lines. He's actually probably destroyed... Yeah, he destroyed one of my cannons. So let's finish him off real quick. And then we'll focus on Leopold here. Alright, we gotta get out of that. That's not gonna be good for me for very much longer. If we can get some more vampires up here close, I can hit them with a final transmutation and be extremely effective about it. Because see, we've got a couple more vampire leaders here. This one's another necromancer. Let's go give him a poke real quick. And then let's see, where's my... Yeah, see, it would be best if I could get another vampire leader up here. But let's go ahead and bring all these Jade Lions and attack the Strigoi. He ought to be somewhat vulnerable. See, these Necromancers are also quite vulnerable to quick hits and hard charges here. Look at that. Busted that Ghoul King up. I had moved these reinforcements over here, but we'll actually probably want them right... nope. We'll probably want... Yeah, like that. And then let's pull these... Get an idea. I'm gonna actually kind of tinker with these guns a little bit. Okay, that's actually not good. We might be pinned on the ground out here now. Let's see if we can get back up in the air. And let's go ahead and pull my lions back inside the cover of our lines here. Go ahead and pull them back in. Let's not let anybody get caught out here. I'm gonna try and get away from these dire wolves. I don't know if we can. Not super worried about it one way or the other. Let's check out my crossbow range. We actually just about had that Master Necromancer in range. There's a Blood Knight on the way in. I'm actually gonna focus that with my crossbows. And then they had a Fellbat drop in behind me here that's, I think, going after my spellcasters. Right, and I pulled those direwolves back into my lines there. So again, we got the vampires fixed up on our lines. We got to get a lot of damage done. My pool of magic is limited, so I could use it to burn up a whole bunch more chaff, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Let's see how much it takes to do that wall of wind and fire again. Oh, it's only 4 magic. Yeah, I mean, that's worth it all day long. That's worth this all day long. We're gonna burn up this vampire chaff over here. It's gonna take nearly all the magic I have left to get an overcast final transmutation. But look at this, three targets all together. That is what we have been waiting for. There we go. That will be tremendously damaging. And then I'm going to follow that up with an attack on some of those units. So now the vampires are going to take critical damage here. I've got one more wall of wind and fire. Yeah, that did some work right there. So 2 more vampire leaders are going to drop. And we've got a wall of wind and fire just about spun up here. Let's go ahead and trigger that. Helman Gorst is about to die. That ought to have massive ramifications. And then that wall of wind and fire is going to burn up a ton of vampire chaff up in there. Which means, yep, we're seeing their numbers drop off substantially here. Let's take these crossbows. Let's mow down these cryptors back there. And I think we've got this under control now. So despite the huge numbers of vampires, we've gotten the situation under control. I want to get my Iron Hail Gunners out here and do a little bit of cleanup work. It's just going to be a little tricky, but I think we can do it. I'm going to try and move the Iron Hail Gunners up. Let's pull my lions back in here. Oh, they got a Vargeist coming towards my balloon, so I better move back. In fact, where's my Longmar Riders? Let's go intercept that. My Longmar Riders should be able to down a Vargeist. Vargeist are not bad, though, since they got that armor-piercing damage. I like the changes they made to the Vargeist. But they are low armor, which means they should suffer considerably to the high charge of the Longmar Riders. Oh, look at that Vargulf. went down to the Iron Dragon. So the vampires brought the house, everything they could raise from the dead. They cleared out the local mausoleums, and it wasn't enough. So over 6,000. I might save that one and make kind of a fun battle out of this, kind of a good one. So let's say verse vamps. That might be a fun one to kind of make like a little video out of for some cinematic glory shots there. So we absolutely annihilated the vampires there. They got away technically with pretty much nothing. However, the dead shall rise again thing, despite having been nerfed by CA, will certainly give them back a lot. And I understand that for when the players are using the vampires. That does make some sense to me. Yeah, Bacon says, why use the cav when you can chill and use magic? Yeah, the magic is the most effective against the vampires. Magic and missiles is the best way to fight the vampires because they have all the hit points, they have the numbers, they have ways to overwhelm you, they have terror. They have a lot of magic themselves, but of course the AI is terrible at using vampire magic. Now there is some vampire magic that would make our life a living nightmare right there. So a single like Wind of Death, or some of their other spells, and the vampires could absolutely ruin me in that defensive position. But I can do that confidently and comfortably because CA has never fixed the issue with the way that the AI wastes their magic. So remember early on, I did a couple of charges on Helman Gorse. What's he do? He casts Vance Macabre on himself. He starts healing himself, even though there's no reason to. Like, so the AI squanders its magic early in these battles, and it absolutely kills them. Now, on the flip side of that, think about when you're fighting against the Skaven, and they have Warp Lightning. They decimate you with Warp Lightning. They cast it constantly and all over you as soon as it's ready. It is brutal punishment for the player. Like, absolutely brutal. And there's very little you can do about it. Now, I'm not saying that I want the AI to be limitlessly brutal against the player, but imagine for a moment that the AI uses its magic better on the high difficulty levels, right? So if you put it on easy, maybe the AI kind of does what it does right now, where it squanders a lot of its magic. You put it on hard, and it's really good at targeting, say, like bombardments and breath spells and damage spells. If they just focused that on the harder difficulties, where the AI gets way better at focusing those spells, it would be a huge leap forward for the AI on the higher difficulties, and would actually be a real reason that the AI is more formidable on those higher difficulties as well. Not just being buffed up, you know, randomly and pointlessly. So, anyway, that's just my thoughts on it in terms of what I think could be good. Do we think this army is capable of beating these lizards over here? Let's take a look and see. Eastern Fires, yeah. Got Unyielding. Unyielding will help. Let's do the Reassuring Presence. We've only got 15 units. I've got 3 decent infantry, 4 trashy ones, 2 others that are not really meant for that kind of fight. But as far as taking down large targets, I got a Huntsman and 2 crane guns. Could I take them down fast enough, though, becomes the question, because there could be even more dinos in that army. Now, what I don't want, though, is for that dino army to head back here to Macau Peaks. So that's why part of me is considering attacking it, but I guess what we could do is, rather than rushing that attack, I could, like, just go ahead and throw a couple more cheap units into the army, and then just go chase it down. Even if it goes after the other one, we should be alright. I hope. I think we're safe to upgrade some of this stuff down here now. Let's do so. Let's see. Build this. So we got some upgrades rolling there. Let's see here. Bacon says, I'm surprisingly enjoying your Pharaoh content despite everyone pooing on the game. I never bother checking out Troy, so the game feels new to me. Yeah, if you've never seen Troy before, then Pharaoh would be a little newer. Yeah, I mean, I've gotten into my thoughts on Pharaoh a few times on a lot of streams, so I won't get into it in detail now. I do think this. So I think these two things can be true at the same time. And I'm going to say this, and it's not meant as an insult to anybody. Don't take it personally if you're, in a camp that kind of was on this. It's fine, right? I'm not insulting anybody. I'm just saying there's two things in my mind that really, or sorry, three things, and all of these are true to a degree, and I think all of them are contributing to a degree to the challenge that Pharaoh's run into. Number one, timing is really bad for CA. Like, they shot themselves in the foot over the cost of this DLC, and the timing is also bad because people saw the canceling of Hyenas, and that didn't look good for CA, and then couple that with the fact that it wasn't Medieval 3, which is what all the hardcore historical fans wanted, and so timing is really bad for CA when it comes to Pharaoh. Now, they couldn't have really known that great. They couldn't have known all three of these things were going to come to head back when they started pushing the game. Now, what they feasibly could have known, right, is to not design a game that people really don't want. And that brings me to point two. So point two of something that can be true, which is I just don't think people are all that interested in that time period right now, and so it doesn't generate a lot of interest. And then number three, couple that with the fact that publicly everybody was already mad at CA, like I said, from point one, and all of the content creators are crapping on it. All of the fans are crapping on it. Warhammer 3 is getting review bombed by fans who are mad over the price. So review bombing Warhammer 3 because of price, in my opinion, is not very smart, because it's not a reflection of a review, right? You're angry over the price, but again, you can do what you want. It's your review. I'm not getting on to people. And again, for my peers who create content, they can do what they want. They can cover what they want. I'm not trashing anybody or saying not to do it. I choose not to do it, but I felt no reason to bandwagon up and start kicking a dead horse that had already been run over, splattered, beheaded, mutilated, and smeared all over the street, right? So I think that those three things are all true at the same time. Poor timing, lack of interest, and then everybody craps on it. Both the big creators and basically all the community. And you put all that together, and the game doesn't stand a chance. Just doesn't stand a chance. Warner, thanks for 19 months of being a member. I appreciate you. You are fantastic. Says, I was doing fine on my Ramses campaign until those meddling sea people came. Their stupid 12 full stacks. Holy crap, 12 full stacks? I guess I better start getting ready. I'm already in a mess in my Suplaliliuma campaign, so I'll have to get ready for that. That's nuts. 12 stacks. Dang. Wow, thanks for the tip there, Warner. But yeah, hey, appreciate you being a member for so long. Stinger Marine, thanks for the 5. He says, been watching for years and loving the Warhammer content era. I really like when you read the comments in between the turns. It's great engagement. Well, thank you, Stinger. This time I wasn't even reading them in between the turns, but I do need to get back to doing that, because then it hopefully makes this easier for someone to watch back afterwards. So yes, thank you, Stinger. Appreciate the support. Same thing, Warner. And everybody else who's watching, both live and after. I appreciate every single one. I make this content for you, and when you watch it, that makes me happy. When you enjoy it, that makes me even happier still. So definitely glad that so many of you still enjoy the content. I love making it for you. Anyway, let us get back to things here. Did we finish our recruiting with Yuan Bo? Not yet, so I got one more turn to finish the recruiting. That's fine. At the Turtle Isles, we did just build the Astromantic Relay. And that's now cooling down on the compass there too, and we very well could be facing some enemies here soon. And our garrison here is going to replenish slowly and be weak as a general rule. So I may need to put some units in here as well. And I am low on the alliance points here with a lot of my allies. New World colonies, yeah. Not much else I can do there this turn, but we can do this, and just whatever units we can stack up, I think, are going to be useful. And then let's head back over here. I don't need to move these armies that are at the wall. Yeah, we gave the vampires a savage beat down there. Absolutely savage. I'm going to take
Retribution
Shambletown.
is nigh!
Not much the vampires can do about that either. Now, again, remember, we got to remember our vampire rule here. Whatever I can see, you can be assured there is more of it beyond the Fog of War. Even though the Fog of War is way off over here, somehow there's a vampire army somewhere here that I can't see, and they're waiting to ambush me. So I cannot for a moment take my guard off. So I'm going to move this army up here within the reinforcing range of their fellows, and we'll continue to reinforce each other in that way. Now, let's see. We know that Wall of Wind and Fire is good for Iron Dragon, so we'll unlock that one. So Wall of Wind and Fire, very good against the vampires, at least in my opinion. It's not great against armor, but the vampires do not field a lot of armor outside of Graveguard, so I find it to be an incredibly useful piece of magic. Because it just sits there and absolutely burns out their zombie blobs and skeleton blobs, which otherwise could cause you a lot of damage if you had to just beat them down in melee. Okay, let's see.
Child of the Nine.
Instrument of the Divine.
I want to build that building. I do have some leftover cash. We can build a ton of different stuff in a lot of different places. So it really kind of just depends on what we want here. We're a little bit heavy on the hang side, so if I flip that one, that would actually leave us in balance, and then if I come over here, it'll knock me just a hair off balance, but not a big deal. I can get this one that buffs up trade tariffs. I like those buildings that boost our trade tariffs because you make so much money off of trade. I'm gonna go looking for some easy money upgrades here and spend that, as those should give me the biggest return on investment here. So I am looking for some good ROR. All right, Archernut, thanks for joining. Hope you do well at your meeting tomorrow. Get yourself some sleep. Appreciate you dropping in here with us. Where's this one at? This is back in the basin, and there's a special building here as well. I would like to build that, so I might go cancel another one. Isthmus of Lustria, I want to build that. Let's go find something that I just set out on. I can wait on that one. Be like one other building here. I can wait on that upgrade there too. Alright, now let's go back here. Let's build the special building. Oh, I have to be at tier 3 first. Well, come on, Air. Oh well, there's still some buildings I can build here that would probably be just as good of a spend. Might actually convert that one over. Let's build that. Alright. Let's end this turn. Get to a couple of comments here from the folks who are live. Legamus says, I'm all for new historical Total War, but it just looks too much like Troy 2.0. I miss the good old days, I guess. Give me Rome 1. I'm actually a little bit surprised in some ways that CA didn't take better advantage of Rome Remastered and then follow it up with a Medieval 2 Remastered. And the reason I say that, and quite frankly, remaster Empire a little bit, rework Napoleon a little bit. You probably don't need to do a lot to the graphics on Napoleon, but rework a few things, re-release those games, put some hype around them, go drop a DLC on each one of them. Now think how cool it'd be to have DLC for Rome 1 Remastered. There's plenty of DLC they could do, and it would be a heck of a lot of fun, and that kind of stuff feeds that historical crowd. It's the games they already love, the games already used to. You're going back, you're trying to improve them, you're trying to make those games last even longer. It's a token of goodwill, in my opinion, against for the people who have invested in those games, and they get to see them continue along, longer. And so I'm a little bit at a loss for why they wouldn't have pursued some of that strategy. You look at, like, for instance, Rome 2 got its last DLC way after launch, way after it. What was it, like 5 years or more? They went back with that DLC and people loved it. They were for it. They were all for it. And I feel like it's a huge miss for CA to not use Rome 1 remastered more. And if you take a look at like Age of Empires 2 and Age of Empires 3, they made the remasters of them, and both of them have gotten new DLC since the release of the remastered, and it takes an old game that you love, it brings it back to life, and then adds to it. Like, so you get that classic fun you had when you were a kid, and more. And so, I don't get it. Like, that to me is just a plain miss. Not taking advantage of this. And like a Medieval 2 remastered, released with all the same awesome mod tools that it used to have, people would love them for that. Like, imagine playing Medieval 2, but with all of the modern quality of life updates, like the controls and other things, with 4K textures, and like some bug fixes that of course never got put in back in the day because it was harder to patch bugs. Like, I think it's a huge miss on their part not to have gone down that road to satiate the historical crowd while you continue to work on a huge historical title. Right? They take time. They are not easy. And so I just think that was a huge miss. Could be wrong.
And be recompensed.
I'm not a marketing person. Don't know for sure, but I feel like that would have been a big deal. And I feel like it would have bought them a whole lot more goodwill and more money than by Total War Pharaoh. And just my opinion.
Iron Dragon.
I could be wrong.
Descended from celestial glory. There is merit in this.
Some people are saying they should have never stopped 3K development. I agree with that as well. Stick to the games you release.
Shrine to our ancestors.
Keep making them good. Stick to them for a long time, and then just lengthen your release cycle.
Shaper of the eight
You don't have to
winds.
release a game every year. You don't even have to release a game every 2 years. It's okay to lengthen your release cycle and get it right, and then stick to those games you released in order to maximize, the money that you make off of them.
Yin and yang.
And Legamus makes a statement here that is absolutely correct. And even more correct now because of the remaster and because of the DLC and stuff for the remaster. He says Age of Empires 2 will never die. That is probably correct. And it's because the support doesn't die. You know what I mean? Like, they get the support still there.
Keeper of Wuxi.
It's not going to die while the game's still being actively supported.
It is so. Master of the meteor.
Alright, Tehenhauin is back. I'm going to kind of hide up here in this pass and maybe see if we can get lucky and get a shot at him. I don't know that it will work, but maybe we shall get lucky.
Harmony falters.
So, yeah, Rome 1 Remastered for me was super fun. It was really neat. I would have liked to play more of it on the channel, and I probably will at some point. But, I feel like that was really cool that they released it. It kind of came out of nowhere. I was super excited, and I was like, oh my gosh, think of all the awesome things they can do with this. And then it's just like, womp, 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 like just nothing. Like, they release it, and then, well, there you go. See you later. What? Then Three Kingdoms, it's like, it is the highest selling game. I know it didn't have the highest player base, but it's just like, yeah, we're done supporting this, by the way, we're going to move on. What? And I don't, it sends the wrong message, 100%. And I want CA to succeed because I love these games. I want them to succeed because I don't want their games to go under. I want to keep playing Total War games.
Investment in the future.
Okay,
It shall be effortless.
check. Board not moved. We do have some stone and steel available. We could find some of the key buildings that we need, because I think we can rush construction.
Attention.
There's nothing building in the Great Turtle Isles right now, or else that would be a good place to do it, because construction is slow there. Like, if I go looking through some of my construction, I saw like a 6-turn construction we had just started. Yeah, right here at Hanyu Port. Let's go there, and let's use our Matters of State. Rush construction at Hanyu Port. Form. Okay, and then we can use our levy troops thing to... Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a joke here from Legamus, but this is actually somewhat true. He's saying like a Turdatani DLC for Rome 2. I mean, that's actually kind of genius. Like, it would be a DLC for Rome 2, and you could use the opportunity to like make some updates to some units and balancing and a few changes, and you release the Turdatani, and you can like literally like release them as a fun faction to play, but also it's kind of a hilarious marketing joke because they're turds. You know what I mean? Like, so that is a win-win-win. Like, there's no way you lose doing something like that. Like, there is no way you lose with the Total War community by releasing a Turdatani DLC. I think it's because it sounds so silly, maybe, that it can't be considered, but that's precisely why it's a good idea. Alright. I don't know. Maybe I'm a simpleton. Well, I mean, what do I mean? Maybe I'm a simpleton. There's a 100% chance I'm a simpleton. Alright, let's go over here and let's rush our construction. Warner says the joke is that it would make them the most OP faction in the game. Well, it probably would, based on how CA does DLC, but hey, still, it'd be fun. We still love the desert factions, even though a lot of them are kind of OP in Rome 2 still.
Serve from the front.
Alright, well that helps speed up my recruitment here, which will certainly be appreciated. We're gonna need all we can get against the incoming lizard onslaught. Let's go ahead and end another turn here. Richard says the tournaments that are held by people help Age of Empires 2 a lot. Yeah, it does. But again, think about it. Age of Empires 2 was obviously made as a game for people who enjoyed Age of Empires 1. It could be played casually and in single player, but it was also created with this like highly competitive multiplayer facet in mind, and balancing was very important to them. And they spent a lot of time, you know, like working through it. And so because they took the time to do that, it creates these multiplayer communities that go and host the tournaments, and then those huge tournaments draw in crowds and interest, and then thus keep stuff going. So that's a smart move on their part. So again, if CA spends more time on the multiplayer facet of their Total War games, and keeps trying to introduce new things and to make them competitive and fun and push that, you know, again, people would continue to do that. Like Turin hosts stuff all the time. Well, you'd have even more and probably even bigger ones if you could, you know, make sure your game was focused in that direction. But
let us talk frankly. Away from war.
Poor SAP says, are you going to release this whole live stream as part 13? Yes, that's how we're working these. Like I'm live streaming the parts now, and people can watch them afterwards. They can watch them live, but it allows me, like if I wanted, for instance, to make 2 or 2.5 hours of campaign episodes, it's going to require me to do 30 or 40 minutes of editing, uploading, and babysitting the computer while they upload. It's a pain. It's a waste of time. And I can give you more time in the campaign if I stream, and then I am spending less time, dead time, editing and uploading. So that's why I'm doing the streams. I know some people won't like that as much as just having the dedicated video, and I get it. But at the same time, it's just more efficient this way. It's what I need to do based on the amount of time that I have given. And I also enjoy it a lot. I really enjoy the streams because I feel like it's a way for us to have fun conversations and for me to get to interact with some of the you know, most active viewers that I have. I know not everybody can make the time, and I get it. That's fine. There's a lot of times that I wouldn't be able to join stuff too. So Dermentia says Age of Empires 3 is still his favorite. I still like Age of Empires 3 the best too. Age of Empires 2 was quite fun. It was neat. It really was a classic. But for whatever reason, Age of Empires 3 just appealed to me a whole lot more, and I think it was probably the time period. Like I do like the medieval time period's cool, don't get me wrong, but I feel like that kind of colonization, exploration, Victorian type time period was just really cool for like a, you know, kind of a semi-historical war, you know, type game there, so that was fun for me. But yeah, Age of Empires 2, definitely a good game. Like, so just because I'm saying that I liked 3 better, I mean, obviously, I think more people would agree that if you said that 2 was the better game, but for me, I liked 3 better. Viridian Chimera, thanks for subbing to the channel. Appreciate you. Alright, here comes the ogres. They do have a Mournfang cavalry running right up front. So if we're looking at priority targets when fighting these ambushes, we want to go for the big, bulky targets like their lord, like this Mournfang cavalry. We can shoot the Mournfang cavalry over the top of infantry even, so I think I'm actually going to go ahead and move my infantry ahead of my main line so that I'll be in a good blocking position regardless. But let's watch my good old Streltsy in action. I'll tell you what, man, I need an axe to put on the butt of one of my rifles, or better yet, you know, up on like a rail on the front of it. That would be absolutely amazing. Imagine having like a modern rifle with an axe on the front. That'd be absolutely sick. Looks like we have enemies slowly working around our flank. I'll make sure that they don't really have any place to get to us here. Ooh, man, look at that. Those Iron Hail Gunners dumpstered that infantry. And the Mournfang cavalry is going to be driven right the heck out of here. And now we just got to finish off this Slaughtermaster. They have some units moving around me over here, but I'm pretty much unconcerned about those units. In fact, I may do a little bit of repositioning here. There we go. So we've routed their lord. Man, that Slaughtermaster got slaughtered. That was gruesome. I mean, I almost feel bad for him there. Notice the keyword almost, though. They had those units moving around me. I don't know which direction they're going now, so let's see. Let's actually move this unit up over here too. Yeah, here they come. They're gonna have a couple of units come back from routing up front. That's fine. I'm just kind of getting ready to blast these units that come up on my flank here.
Chasing prey, the ultimate hunter.
Order and balance.
Blast them. Oh yeah, got a good shot off there. There we go. That's going to be a chain rout and a very efficient victory for us, which is what we wanted here. There we go. Andy, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate the kind words there. Warner says when Streltsy joins the chat, their target becomes the butt of the joke. That is indeed true. I love me some Streltsy. Streltsy might be one of my favorite units in all of Warhammer 3. Absolutely love some Streltsy. And adding Akshina ambushers is really cool too, because then I get like a crossbow version of Streltsy and then Streltsy. You know, so it's like double the Streltsy. I'm here for it. So I am here for it.
Death befalls all who enter the magical waters of the Dragon River uninvited. But as the winds of magic flow in Cathayan favor, its ill effects can be harnessed for far more than merely death alone.
Excellent. Alright, so if we point towards the river, we can cut down attrition by 75%. Now that would be super useful if we needed to spend extended time out in the Chaos Waste, so I will keep that in mind. Or like if we were assaulting a vampire, you know, like a huge vampire fort or something like that where there's a lot of attrition. That lizard faction is moving multiple armies towards me here at the Great Turtle Isles, and it's actually a really good thing that I use that speedy recruitment feature, because the enemy is upon us. I wish we could get the Green Guardian. I'm almost at level 30 probably.
First among warriors.
We do have some garrison at the Great Turtle Isles, and we are going to have to fight off a couple of armies, so this is a little bit worrisome actually. This is good infantry here, and then those crossbows are good, and then a couple that I would have 5 crossbows, 2 more good infantry.
General.
So that would leave me with 5 halberds, some swords, a lord. We wouldn't have any magic. That would be potentially problematic, but we could probably hold our own given the situation. At least I sure hope so. We'll see. We're about to find out what I can hold out against. Just for the sake of as much preparation as I can get, I'm going to do a little bit more recruiting here. Now the AI is likely to attack me before any of this finishes, but I will take my chances at being able to pick up some more units here and just see what we can get. Alright, see what we can get. Lord not moved. So Yuan Bo here could reach Tehenhauin at the Sentinel of Time. Tehenhauin could have other armies around. He could get reinforced. We need the Southern Sentinels.
I should be the celestial city,
But
ensuring the empire is well.
taking down Tehenhauin and downing his army would hopefully put us into a strong position here. I'm actually going to encircle him.
Royal executioner.
See what we can get done here. I'm actually thinking control income from all buildings. Dragon Emperor's Wrath is pretty cool, but I think it only applies to stuff up in the waste. Let's do this one here, the Celestial Lake. This is a good question for not necessarily being in between turns, but Brock in the live chat here says, what is my favorite Total War? I've answered this a couple times, but I'm happy to answer it again. It's not particularly difficult to answer. My favorite Total War game ever is the one I'm playing right now, Total War Warhammer 3. And my reason for that is, I think Warhammer and Total War were made for each other. Warhammer 2 was my favorite one. And now this one is, because this one has all of those factions and an even bigger map and more factions. So to me, Warhammer 3 is the best Total War game ever made. It has the most replayability, it has the largest campaign map, it has the most factions, it has the most leader options, it has the deepest battles. Some people may be like, what do you mean by deepest? Flyers, magic, shooting stuff, monsters, special abilities, contact effects. Like, it has the deepest battles in terms of like the most, you know, like differences. It's very dynamic, lots of different ways it can get played. So to me, Warhammer 3 is just far and away the best. If I had to pick my favorite historical Total War game, it's Rome 2, but I would say a close second would be Shogun 2. So yeah, anyway, there you go. Some of my favorite Total War games. Let's see here. Sale at cargo value.
Gift from the dragons.
Let's see here.
The Iron Dragon.
So the vampires are mustering more armies, but that's okay.
Search of Warpstone.
They're not gonna get past me.
Dragon-blooded Shogun gun.
Now own 2 of these territories here.
Beyond sanity.
Shambletown, let's put in some defenses. This is helping with growth, so that's good. Probably want to build Knobbly Gorge first. Okay, I have unassigned skill points still. Brock said, I could have sworn you'd say Rome 1. So Rome 1 is where it all started for me. And I certainly have a soft place in my heart for Rome 1. And until they made Rome Remastered, Rome 1 was basically unplayable for me. Not because it's old and stuff like that, but the controls and interface were just awful. Like, it was difficult to play the game. because the newer controls and stuff were so good that having to deal with the old stuff was just absolutely awful. So yeah, for me it was mostly that it needed modernized, and it needed modernized something fierce, and Rome Remastered did that, and that was a big deal, and it was very helpful. However, Rome 2 is still a little better for me after it got all its updates. It's newer, it looks better, it's got a little bit better, you know, number of factions, a larger number of units, stuff like that. You know, a little more impactful battles. But yeah, Rome 1's definitely got a soft place in my heart. It's where my channel started, it's where my interest in Total War started. I started watching Rome 1 battles from Prince of Macedon on YouTube, which is what made me want to make my own videos, because I loved his so much. I still do. He made amazing stuff. In my opinion, he's like the father of the whole Total War community here that ended up on YouTube and elsewhere. So I hope people appreciate, you know, whether they liked his videos a particular bunch or not. But to me, Prince of Macedon was a huge piece of this community kind of coming around. So I will always appreciate him and what he did, because I would have never made these videos were it not for what he did and the influence there. So, and I got to meet him a couple times, which was really awesome. I got to meet him at a couple events with CA, and that was really something. So I always appreciated that. He's a really fun guy to be around, a lot of energy. He really loved the Total War games. So yeah, here we go. Let's fight this battle. Poor SAP says, I believe your reasoning on why Warhammer 3 is so good is underrated. It's truly impressive what they manage with the game, even if it isn't perfect. I agree. There are certainly things we would like to see improved. The game isn't perfect, 100%. I'm behind that. But again, you go look at the reviews of this game, and this game has like a 40 or 50% positive review on Steam because people were mad at pricing. Yeah, that kind of pisses me off, to be honest. Like, again, you can do what you want with it. It may make me angry. You're free to go do what you want. You don't have to worry about making me angry. But I also don't like it because I don't think it's a good reflection of the game in its current state. I think the game in its current state is excellent. It does need things improved. I think it's okay to be mad at the price of the DLC and to take that out on CA in whatever way seems most effective, but review bombing the game does not seem like an effective way to me of dealing with the price issue. The best way to deal with the price issue is to not purchase it. So if you do not like the price of the DLC, do not purchase the DLC. Like, that is the best and quickest way to send that message to CA, in my opinion. Again, do what you want, though. I'm not trashing you. If you went and left a negative review, you don't have to go, like, remove the review or feel bad about it. You may be right. You all may go do that, and for all I know, that ends up changing CA's mind. Like I said, I don't know. But to me, I don't think it's the best way to handle it. But we'll see. Alright, here we go. Warner, have a good sleep. Hope work is going well for you. We appreciate you dropping by. Best of luck to you against the sea people. It sounds like you're going to need it.
Stone and steel. For the moon dragon.
Restore order!
I'm going to down these. Ooh, don't do that. Okay, it's just a Stella. I thought I was about to get wrecked. Or Flock of Doom. Now, Flock of Doom, that's actually a pretty good call there by the AI to use Flock of Doom. It's a good way to wear you down. There's a lot of focus coming over here, so I'm going to actually move Yuan Bo over here. My sorcerer in a mid position here.
Praise the dragon.
Lou says this is the exact kind of fight that Cathay wants. I agree. This fight is very appropriate for Cathay. Where I can fight defensively, let my missiles do their biggest amount of damage, and just watch the enemy melt up against our impenetrable defenses. Alright, Tehenhauin's taking a beating. I'm also going to throw down some good old face melting here. I'm gonna put the execution down on Tehenhauin, which will all but finish him off.
Dragon guard.
And then my crossbows should be able to finish the deed here. Alright, Tehenhauin is basically out. Let's queue up a bombardment right here.
Metallurgy unleashed. Elemental majesty. Crossbowmen.
Let's put a shot on Tehenhauin here on the way out the door.
Seeking Catay's bones.
Sent by Ravens.
Alright, Tehenhauin's down. Skink Moses down. I've got Yuan Bo up in melee with all those infantry-sized targets. He's very good against infantry-sized targets. I'm going to queue up another bombardment here. These bombardments are going to be brutally effective. There's a skink chief over here. I'm going to target that skink chief. And then we held the line with little issue on the other side of the battlefield. So, yeah, I agree. This is definitely the kind of fight that Cat Bait thrives in, where you get a good solid defensive position, your heavy armor, you've got good crossbows, you've got solid magic. Better yet, you've got brutal artillery, and you can really dish out some significant pain to your enemies in those situations. Let us do a little debuff here to speed the passing of our lizard enemies here. Put them out of their misery.
Warrior crossbows. Fight as one.
Alright, let's go ahead and end the battle. There's really nowhere for these folks to run. Yeah, Brock says Prince of Macedon was the OG. I agree. I've seen people call me the OG. I am not. It was definitely the Prince of Macedon. And then there was another caster way back when. It was absolutely amazing. His name was Clooney the Scourge. If you haven't ever seen one of his videos, I know they're very old, but he did Rome 1 videos as well. He had this amazing, dry British wit that was hilarious, and he would do these commentary battles, and I just couldn't get enough of them. So if you get a chance, type in Clooney the Scourge, Rome Total War, and oh my gosh, like, he made some hilarious and awesome battles that I will never forget. So Clooney the Scourge, a lesser known figure from the past of Total War on YouTube, but one that really made some impressively entertaining videos. And what's interesting was that Clooney the Scourge, a long time ago, I used to watch his Rome Total War videos because the commentary battles he did were really spectacular. He also started doing commentary videos on Blood Bowl. I had no idea what Blood Bowl was. I was like, what is this stupid game he's playing? Like, what are these rats and other stuff? Like, this is the stupidest thing. It didn't make any sense to me, what I was seeing. I was like, who plays this kind of stuff? It was Warhammer, and I had no idea. And little did I know that Warhammer was going to become my favorite Total War game. And here it was in front of my face all those years ago. And I was like, this is dumb. I don't want to see this. It ends up being one of my favorite things. I had no idea. So I found that kind of ironically hilarious that I didn't want to watch any of his Warhammer focused videos because I didn't know what it was, and I thought they weren't interesting. So there you go, showed me. Then I ended up loving some good old Warhammer. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with the leftovers of Tehenhauin's army here. Okay, so we got this. I don't want extra control, but I'll keep the defenses there. We are within a quick jot over here to Southern Sentinels. We did hit level 31. That's unlocked subsequently the Green Guardian, which we can put into one of our armies. And honestly, I'm thinking I'm going to go put the Green Guardian into Patchy's army, because he's going to have to fight Chaos Dwarves, and I would think the Green Guardian could be potentially devastating against the Chaos Dwarves. So, like, think about it, for instance, if you get the Green Guardian up close to all the blunderbuss units, they would just self-immolate because it could reflect all those shots at them. So I think that I'm going to put the Green Guardian into Patchy's army because it'll be one of the most relevant places for it. So
Change from my scroll.
let's go do that. I really want to get some Celestial Dragon crossbowmen, especially now that we have the money to field those units, but I don't believe I have a building in place to recruit them because my growth and expansion has been rather slow. So I am going to take these Crowmen, and I'm going to ditch a unit of Crowmen, and I'm going to drop the Green Guardian here. For SAP, thanks for joining us for as long as you could. We appreciate you being here live. Have a good evening. Hope you get some rest or get on to whatever else it is that you need to, and have a good day. Thank you to everybody who is watching this afterwards. I appreciate you very much, and I hope you're enjoying it. I'm doing my best to get you something entertaining here and to bring you a lot of it. Like, I feel like this allows me to put out a lot more hours of content. Hopefully you find it enjoyable as well. Like I said, this is the reason I have to go this way, is it's just the best for me. Like, this is definitely the best way for me to make the most content, because it kills some of the dead time editing. Okay, now I would very much like to take control of the Haunted Forest, even though it's not going to be easy to maintain. I have this partial army that I could use to kind of garrison it for the time being. I'm going to move all these armies up here, which hopefully put me within movement range. Assign skill points. We're going to do this enhanced metallurgy. Alright, there we go. We're on assigned skill points. This one's going to be Yuan. I think it was Warner that named this one. And a good name it was. A good name it was.
To defend my soldiers.
Awesome. Alright, we still have some lizards in the vicinity, and our replenishment is going to be quite slow, but we do have some recruitment that's about to finish, and thank goodness, because we are still being squared off against here by a pretty fair number of lizardmen. We still have our garrison in pretty good shape, though. I think we can hold out. So, feeling pretty confident we hold. Let's upgrade the Golden Colossus. Let's go ahead and run the upgrade on Maku Peaks. Hung. So we're going to do a lot of those upgrades. That's about all the money that I'm going to spend for this turn. We do have technology that we can choose from. This one is going to reduce the upkeep cost for Jade Warrior Crossbowmen, which is not going to hurt anything, so we're going to go down that road.
We learn.
Don't need the outpost. There we go. Though I will construct the outpost soon. Oh, we need to confederate Miao Ying.
I can promise little.
That's right, Senshi. Misa, sorry, Annie.
My parents' land.
Oh, man. Let's see here. So, trade agreement? Yes, absolutely. Brock says, one thing I miss about this game that I can't figure out is all the different types of what's good against what. Or one thing about this game that I can't figure out is, yeah, so the what's good against what is relatively straightforward. So let's put it this way. Anti-large, so something that has a bonus versus large, is going to be good against anything larger than an infantry-sized unit. So monstrous infantry, cavalry, single entities. Now, does that mean that any unit that has an anti-large bonus is going to be good against every large-size unit? And the answer to that is no. No, they won't. And it's because there is more to it than that in this game. There is magic support that comes in. Ooh, we can get a Celestial Dragon Guard in this army. Yes. Yes, yes. Yeah, so like certain units won't be able to just, like, you can't take a unit of Peasant Spears and because they're good against large, they can go take down like a Dread Saurian or something like that. That's not going to happen. You also have units that, in theory, should be good against infantry, and you send them in and something goes wrong, because remember, there's spells, there's aura buffs, there's all this different stuff, special abilities, but in general, obviously, like if you take a look at the damage profile on a unit, this is what you're going to see. So let me try and explain it, because this is a good question. I feel like this is relevant, and we can discuss this here. So let's take a look at like the Cathay roster here, and the swordsman. So what would Jade Warriors be good against? Well, if you look at them, their damage profile, their attack is low. Their melee defense is, pretty mediocre. Their weapon strength is low. And it's not armor piercing because we don't have that indicator there. But if you look at their armor is high at 80. For a unit of their cost, their armor is high and they have a shield. So what are Jade Warriors good against? In this case, it means they're good against low armor infantry that does not also have armor piercing capability, right? So they're going to be good against marauders. They're going to be good against Empire swordsmen. They're going to be good against skink cohorts. They're going to be good against anything that is low armor but does not possess a specific anti-armor capability. So you have to read sometimes multiple facets into a unit, but like again, Jade Warriors here, they have the armor piercing and anti-large, and those are the icons you see next to weapon strength there. These guys also have high armor. So these units are going to be best used against large units, or they can hold a line against infantry defensively for a little while because they have slightly higher melee defense, but you'll notice that you lose attack as that damage profile goes up, so they're not going to hit as often. When they do hit, it's going to be more impactful, and especially if it's a large unit. Now that bonus versus large, by the way, if we pin that unit, there it goes. If we pin it, that bonus versus large is shown to you here, which is 16. And what that means is that their melee attack is 16 more, so their melee attack is effectively 38 when they're fighting something that's large. So they're going to be much better at fighting something that's considered a large entity. Well, how do I know if something's considered large? That's this little icon right here. So if this is this little one, that means it's not a large unit. See this one? It shows it as entity size, so it's a large unit. So that kind of helps you know how these units play out. Similar with missile units, you have to look at their range, their damage profile. So like Jade Warrior crossbows have high armor and a shield. This one has a shield, which means they're going to be very good at skirmishing against low armor piercing damage missiles, and they're going to be effective against them because they don't have armor piercing missiles themselves, but they do have armor to protect themselves, and they have a shield. So again, just kind of gives you an idea. You have to think through the multiple facets in Warhammer, so it is a little harder than like some of the past Total War games where it's a little more straightforward. Like Shogun 2 was very straightforward. Spear beats horse, horse beats bow, bow beats infantry beats, the spears, or the sword infantry beats spears. Like it was like this rock, paper, scissor things in Shogun. And honestly, it was a pretty beautiful system despite its simplicity in Shogun. But it was very much more simplistic. Like very much so. But in any case, yeah, it does take a little while longer to kind of get some of that in Warhammer, but the best way to find out is just keep practicing, just keep playing, and you'll kind of learn over time as you deal with those. Hopefully that helps. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I didn't tell you anything new there, but hopefully it helps. And for anybody who's watching afterwards that might need to know that, again, hopefully it helps. Wow, we took a lot more damage there than I thought we should. But we now occupy the Southern Sentinels. We need to build this settlement up if we want to be able to build the required buildings there. So we'll work on that. Building is not going to be of any use to us there. We've got one more lizard army bearing down on us here, but we finished off some more recruitment. We've got more than enough to hold them off, I think, at this point. So the Great Turtle Isles should be safe. So I might go ahead and actually build these buildings here. Same thing, Golden Ziggurat, so I'll go ahead and throw some building down there. Be happy, thanks for joining. Like the name there, I do need to be happy. Alright, let's see here. Do I make a move against the Chaos Dwarves? I think not yet. I need more cannons in this army. This army needs to be refigured for fighting the Chaos Dwarves, so I should start working on that with Patchy's army. Cannons will be very good against the Chaos Dwarves. A war drum would be useful. So I'm going to start recruiting in some of the stuff. We're going to need We're gonna need armor-piercing infantry. Jade Warriors, it might be good to have a couple of Jade Warriors to stand up in a front line, but the Jade Warriors aren't gonna be any good against the armor of the Chaos Dwarf, so I don't want too many of them, but their shields could be useful up front. But I'm actually gonna be better served with the halberd units and a war drum, because the war drum can buff their attack, and then the halberd units are actually gonna do anti-armor. And then there are some large units like Kadai that can come into play from Chaos Dwarves. And we're also going to need some armor-piercing crossbows, which I'm not in that position yet. But we can at least begin the process of refiguring Patchy's army to be more effective against the Chaos Dwarves. So we'll definitely need anti-armor capability if we want to take on the Chaos Dwarves. They are extremely potent fighters, not to be underestimated under any circumstance. Chaos Dwarves are very powerful. And they were when I played as them, and it's part of what made their campaign so fun, is they were very strong, made things a lot of fun. Vampires are going to run away, of course. That's what they do. I need to move up to the edge of reinforcement range. And then we're going to attack the vampires again here. So we're going to concentrate all our forces. I'm going to go ahead and auto-resolve this. And we're going to occupy forest here. Do any of our matters of state remove corruption? Instantly swap between yin and yang. Random magic items. Now that's kind of cool. 4 random magic items or ancillaries. I haven't used that one in a while. That could be really handy. Boom, supply life, fortress city. I'm trying to remember how we gain stone and steel. Each time you declare a new fortress city, you'll regain an extra steel or something. But so fortress city, you have to have 4. What kind of stuff gains us the steel, though? I can't remember what gains it for us. Here it is, matters of state. Formed by using energies of steel and stone, which are never lost, only transferred when steel or stone token is used. It transfers. A number of usable pinning tokens are specified at the top of the main campaign. Winning battles reduces the number of turns tokens stay at pending state. Matters of state action cost varying numbers. Additional tokens can be attained by establishing fortress cities and commercial districts using the associated actions. But see, I don't have enough to get to those, because you have to have 4. When we use them, though, they switch, right? So if I use one and not the other, they should switch over to the other, which would then stack them up enough for me to use like a fortress city, right? I think that's how we do it. And people are saying Crackdown lowers the corruption. Yeah, this one right here. Province has its control and all corruption reduced to 0. There we go, thank you. Appreciate it. Figured there might be something like that. Let's perform that. That will make it to where we don't suffer attrition. Vampiric. Alright, so the Matters of State did help us. We want those exotic animals. We are also going to need growth here. And control, because of this being an unhospitable climate. So I'm going to dump this building right here. Growth plus 10, and then income from building. Growth plus 10. Now let's do the construction cost reduction, because it is going to cost us more to build the buildings here. Xiao Ming is going to level up. Let's see, if we get evasion, we can then unlock Final Transmutation. Final Transmutation is obscenely powerful, and especially since we get really good spell mastery out of Xiao Ming. That increased spell mastery will make him particularly dangerous.
Natural authority. Allocate shifts as required.
I'm not going to replenish very well here, and that's understandable, because again, we're in an inhospitable climate. So it kind of is what it is. Cane conduit. Let's do pounds. A jury, which is going to give us an extra use of the Emperor's Executioner. Now that is powerful. And then this increases it all the way up to 33% from 25% and gives us 3 total uses of it. Wow, that is going to be immensely powerful. And we are going to definitely take advantage of that. All right.
With that,
Good
I will
stuff.
lead more effectively.
Good stuff here. Do you have more skill points yet? Alright, skill points are taken care of. Yuan does not need to move. This army is garrisoning the bastion.
General.
This army does not need to move at the moment. If there's islands nearby, we could go pick up the treasure. I don't really have an easy way into the ocean over here, though. Are there any on this side? Not really. Say we could go picking up some treasures.
First among warriors.
Do I have an access agreement with them? Yeah, we have an access agreement with them. Okay, good deal. So let's use that access agreement.
Instrument of the
I'm gonna go island hopping here and collect some treasures. Let's go take a look. More of our armies to move. So again, we decided. Okay, so we're good. Let's take a look at. Let's actually save our money and just do buildings in the next one, except for the outpost. Oh, we can get Tomb King units? Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I like a lot. America Spire's kind of way back out there. Wait, unless he's at war with the Heralds of Ariel. Alright. T-Rex says, not sure if you already found the answer, but to get more tokens, about halfway down the Stone of Steel's declare military district, declare commercial district, cost 3 or 4. Yeah, it's not super obvious. I did just find it, and I reminded myself that in order to get 4, you use some from one and don't use the other. Let it actually flow over here, and then they'll build up to 4, and then we'll have enough to use the one that we need to gain another token, and we can kind of go from there. So yeah, it took me a little while. I wouldn't call it like convoluted in like a bad way, but it's a little convoluted in terms of like it's probably not gonna just like stick out like a sore thumb to you on how to do it. Thanks, T-Rex, appreciate it, and thanks for being such a long time channel supporter. Appreciate you. All right, so this should be. Oh, the defenders had an army, and they're going to attack. Where did they come from? This is one of my actual lords. Where is it? Shi-Wu? I must have had an army garrisoned here or something. It's an odd place to it. Oh, no. I was moving up against them and attacking. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. Where did... They don't come out of their settlements. Like, I was so confused here. We're going to encircle them. It's no wonder it's saying that my chances are poor. It's because they're in a garrison. Now, I was on another planet there, and it just wasn't registering. I don't need to fight Tehenhauin anymore, technically, but I kind of do. And it's because I need to get to the Star Tower, and he's kind of got a good accessible spot at it. So I may give him peace, but not yet. Not yet. I kind of feel bad for Tehenhauin. He was just a kind of a casualty of war here. Now that's annoying. But Count Noctilus managed to catch me unprepared at the High Sentinel. I'm gonna have to go take care of that because he could start to cause me some trouble here. And that takes away a port too, so that's not great. That's not great. Clark Harand is gonna fight against. Well, I guess I have to enter because I made friends with them, and I should be able to recruit some cool units from there.
Marching to war.
All right, there we go. We lost a unit, but that's fine. We defeated those armies that were after us.
The completion of this relay ensures the mighty winds of magic are guided in a new direction. The Nongchang Basin holds magic beneath its fertile soil. The Wuxing Compass can now direct it for the true benefit of...
Alright, I like this. So, this is good stuff. It's good stuff. Alright. We lost the High Sentinel, which I'm not thrilled about. Count Noctilus caught us with her pants down there.
Attention.
Just gonna have to get back on land and force march.
Warriors, sons, with me.
It's gonna take me a few turns to get down there because I'd already put to sea. So that was good timing on his part, really sucky timing for me. I have decent garrisons at some of these larger settlements, but Count Noctilus is replenishing quickly. He's got a lot of artillery. He is very difficult to kill. So that is not gonna be a particularly easy situation. We achieved short victory, but we're not going for short victory. We want to achieve the long campaign victory, which is going to require us to unlock these other two buildings. So we're part way there. Part way there. So that's the building we need to build. We cannot build it yet, but I can put in some extra growth, and then I can. What else is it that I wanted to do here? So we want the growth. Let's do this growth right here. And defense would be good as well. So we'll kind of get Southern Sentinels started going the right direction. These two settlements, that one's got gold, which would be really nice for our trade, and that one's got medicinal plants also, which would be good.
I must hurry.
Let's just go ahead and lash out here. Oh, no, that's Itza. We don't want to lash out at them. He's buddies with Tehenhauin though, so Gorak isn't exactly going to be our friend here. In fact, he's likely to attack us soon. So we might want to just go finish Tehenhauin off.
The Celestial commands.
Yeah, we'll want to just go finish Tehenhauin off, which...
Sprinting towards danger.
Let's head around this way. Got this one last settlement down here past kayaks. Alright. More research finished. There we go.
All can thank us.
Some words. So we're busy refitting Patchy's army to a degree.
Humility.
Dragon Gate. I need a tier 4 settlement somewhere, and perhaps Miao Ying is the answer here. I said that we should confederate her, so let's see whether she is willing to join the ultimate confederation here. She is. She sees true Cathay and wishes to be a part of it.
Acceptable.
Alright, we now have all of Miao Ying's army. You can see that our income went down rather substantially, and it's because she's obviously stacked up more armies than she has designed her buildings to upkeep. Before we disband anything, I see a few easy grabs here. Number one, I can stop recruiting that war drum. And honestly, we can probably stop recruiting that cannon too. And we can distribute some of these units. Way too many war drums. But, like, one of these armies is just, like, altogether unnecessary, I think. Let's take a look at a few things. So, like, this army, just completely unneeded, so you're cancelled. And... Chaos Spawn. Where she got Chaos Spawn from? This is a pointless unit.
You worthy. Storm Dragon.
I'm gonna start marching
I forbid all
up here. Alright, yeah, they were doing a terrible job building any buildings down here, much less the right buildings.
Servant of the dragon.
I think I'm just gonna dumpster one of these armies altogether, maybe?
Windshaper.
Not really. I could use those crossbows. These are no good.
The worthy may serve.
Yeah, let's keep those armies a little bit longer. I know it hurts my income, but let's use them.
Quick march.
And let's
From the front.
transfer some of these units over. Like these balloons, I'm not going to keep.
Being a civilian.
I don't need the Lancers, I'm not going to keep those. Like, I'm not going to keep the Crowmen.
General
There we
of
go.
the
So I'm going to cut out some of these
Celestial
unnecessary units so that I'll get a little more income. And I'm going to move these armies over here, and I'm going to trade some of their units out before I disband them. And we need to see whether or not Miao Ying had other armies out and about. I think those are the only ones, but of course it increases our supply lines rather significantly by taking on those additional armies. So, speaking of Miao Ying, how many skill points does she have? And let's go... She's at 21 skill points. Let's reset her skills, because the AI does a terrible job with their skills. It's one of the reasons why I keep this mod around. And let's first of all do this, which is reduce her felt upkeep. Kind of give her the basic skills that I like on any given Cathan Lord, and you'll notice that that improved a lot because she now no longer pays quite as much upkeep on those troops. This guy only has 4 skill points. Doesn't really matter because we're not going to use them. So once we disband them, that should give us back pretty much everything we need. We've got these guys sieged. They'll give out sooner or later, so there's no need to rush that. Let's take a look at some of the buildings here. So like at Nangao, this is a waste at Nangao, and then this is a waste here. That I would prefer to be switched. I do not need this building. That building I'll keep because we do want to have them. This building again I'll keep. We are at tier 4 in Nangao, and we need to get all the way up. Yeah, I'm going to switch that building. What else did she own? I think we took most of the territory away from her. We didn't leave Miao Ying a whole lot of room to expand initially. There's a settlement upgrade that I would like to take care of. Let's see, what is this? Growth, we kind of still need the growth. Not that bad though. And balance this, switch that over, so that's balanced, that's balanced, that's balanced. Alright, so we balance across the way for now. I haven't looked at some of my own settlements for quite some time. Oh, we picked up Kunlan as well. I don't really need any recruiting back here at Kunlan. The control probably wouldn't be a bad thing. Growth is certainly a good thing. Take some more of that. We already got the trade, so build some defenses, extra growths. Or sorry, that one's not going to give me growth, but control is still a good thing. Alright, we'll throw some of those out. We'll improve some things. We're not going to make as much money for a couple of turns till I finish transferring the troops from those armies over, but that's not a huge deal. We'll be alright. Lord not moved. Okay, I didn't intend to move that lord, so skip that, skip that. Commandment available. Unassigned skill points. No more unassigned skill points.
Fine addition to my armory.
Another commandment available. Building's doubled up, so let's tear that down. Alright, so this was another settlement that she had over here. We need that building right now. Switch that one over. Swap those. Tear that one down. Okay. Build that. Let's end our turn. T-Rex, thanks for dropping by the stream. We appreciate having you here. Twan, it's good to see you. Says, where does she get those spawns? I don't know how she got it. She must have made an agreement, feasibly, with a Tzeentchian faction? Like, must have built an embassy is the only thing I can think of as be the only way you could get those. So she must have made an agreement with one of the Tzeentch factions and then built an embassy and recruited the units. Unless someone else knows a different way that she picks that stuff up, I cannot believe we were just allowed to defeat Count Noctilus with that army. Auto-resolve is very kind, so I need to hurry and get down there and pick up that settlement before Wolfheart takes it from me. Because he very likely will. Did Nurgle ever get fixed in the game? I mean, if by fixed you mean made fun, no. Like, I mean, and that's my opinion, okay, as a personal opinion. I think Nurgle's extremely unfun, very slow, not interesting. The Festus DLC helped Nurgle because it brought in some more units and gave them at least a little bit of something to do in some of the battles, but I find the Nurgle campaign to be the worst in the game, hands down. Just flat, boring battles. I just don't enjoy it. I played it once for a few minutes and I've never played it again. It's probably one of the only campaigns that I just don't really care for.
Servant of the dragons.
But again, a lot of that's personal preference,
Cover tracks with haste.
so take it for what it is.
Occupy any passes.
Alright. Let's transfer some units here.
We must bring order.
I want a war drum. And I want another cannon. That should be. And I really ought to take these halberds. I could quit recruiting that one. That'll just... I can't actually stop it there, so it'll be alright. Let's do that. And then we'll go stack up some units in this army too. Les says, I hope they get a rework in any of the upcoming DLCs. Well, if you look at the roadmap that CA put out, I want to say that the next DLC includes Nurgle, was it Dwarves and Empire? I have to go back and look at it. So we could feasibly assume that all of those factions are going to get something. And with Nurgle, yes, we could hope that they get a decent rework.
As my siblings would do.
Let's move this army out here where it's going to replenish better.
Child of
I think that's what I saw on the roadmap. You all remind me if I got it wrong.
Lord of Yin and Yang. Service is every Cathayan's duty.
Okay. What would I change to make Nurgle enjoyable? Any wishes? So that's the funny thing. I don't really know anything about Nurgle lore-wise. I don't know anything... I haven't played enough Nurgle because I got so frustrated with it that I really know what to do to fix it. To me, my biggest downside with them is that their battles are boring because all their units are just slow. And slow to me is awful. And like the dwarves are really slow, but at least you get like cool guns and artillery and helicopters. Nurgle's slow and everything's just covered in pus. Like I don't, again, if you're a longtime Nurgle fan from like tabletop or something, I mean, maybe that's cool. Maybe that's what gets you excited. But for me as a player who doesn't really have a horse in a race for any particular faction, you know, like I never owned any of these factions on tabletop. I don't know like what to do with Nurgle, like because I don't know enough about their lore or other things that someone could say, oh, this would be a really fun mechanic, or that'd be. I trust CA that they can do it. They've done it with a lot of factions. I don't know what they need, but whatever they have right now, either one, it just doesn't do it for me, and it's fine with other people. And if that's the case, that's cool. Like it doesn't have to make me happy. As long as most Total War fans are happy, I'm down with that. You know, I feel like they have done so much good content that I feel pretty confident they can do it. They haven't done great public relations, but they have made good content. And I say great public relations, mostly just recently. Honestly, their public relations weren't really a mess until fairly recently. So yeah, I feel confident that they can do it.
Your presence is not appreciated.
A trade
So be quick
agreement,
with your
non-aggression
request.
pact. And let's balance that off. I'm handing a
Most
chunk of
astute.
money. There we go. Marcus, thanks for joining in. And Super Ultra Mega says they need more monstrous units. Something. Like, they definitely need... Like, I get that they're slow and tanky. That's like the basic mantra of Nurgle. But they have almost no missile capability. They have very limited range. And they're just slow, slow, slow. They have pox riders. Like, pox riders and flies are like the only units that can move faster like than single-digit speed. So, to me, I think that's part of what makes them so boring. And Kugath, again, a cool lord, very tanky, but he absolutely epitomizes all the things that make the battle boring to me, right? He does have some range, I guess, which is slight upside. But, yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. He is a very cool looking unit. It's a very unique unit, but it's just very boring in my opinion. So that's just where I'm at with it. And again, it could be me. And if it's me, then ignore me. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be about me. Like, if it's just something that it boils down to me not liking on a... I said boils down. That was an unintended Nurgle pun there. But yeah, so if it's just me, then hey, it's okay. Like, it's not about me here. It's about what a larger group of people would appreciate when it comes to Nurgle.
In all things.
I'm gonna just go ahead and save some cash for another turn. We have another outpost we can build. This one with the Hunts Marshal. There's not much good that he can offer me, unfortunately. Build it back here that looks relatively safe. And get another commandment available here. And another turn. So yeah, I've stacked up quite a bit of money. And I'm doing that so that if there's any really big building upgrades I need to make, that I can make them. Some of them are very expensive, and you may not ever notice you have them if you're just busy building everything you can get there. So we'll have to go and check for some of those things.
Excuse me. I have calligraphy to practice.
Okay, you have calligraphy to practice? I didn't know you were a calligrapher. No, you can't have peace, but you can be made dead rather than undead. I will take care of that for you. Put you back in the grave. Let you get some rest. Let's see here. Griffin Legion Lance that we picked up from Kislev. A lot of charge bonus, that's cool. We don't have a lot of cav in that army, but hey, well, that's cool. Still, we pick up a unique weapon from it, which is pretty neat. We're gonna have Siege Corruption for a few turns. I guess Zainch has his eye on Cathay and its power. Not surprised. Continue the growth here. Okay, whoa! Why'd you walk around that direction? Alright, whatever. Sure. Oh, calligraphy. Wait, was it my general saying that he was into calligraphy? Pardon me, I thought it was Helman Gorst saying he was into calligraphy, so I was confused why Gorst was saying he was into calligraphy. If what Big Mac is saying is that it was a popular art form amongst Chinese nobility, that makes sense. Then it was my own general saying it. Okay, now I get it. But Helman Gorst, I was like, what? Why is a vampire talking about his calligraphy? It's like, what's he got, an ink pen and a quill and an inkwell full of blood or something? Like, that was confusing for me. But it, again, just me causing the confusion because I'm not paying attention.
We will return whenever called upon.
It is a matter of a resource.
Just don't need some of these units. I'm gonna bump them. Super Ultra's asking if I've noticed a tendency of Order owning evil. Not always, no. Especially in, like, if you're in an old world campaign, like you're playing the the old world area of the map, like in the Empire and stuff, I've noticed that the Empire gets rolled by vampires and demons almost every time now. Kislev usually gets rolled by them. High Elves don't usually get taken out, so they're one that usually can kind of hold their own. Dark Elves, I've kind of seen both ways. I've seen them snowball, and I've seen them get wiped out. So, not 100% sure. Like what I've really seen the most of. I'm going to put one more cannon up there. 3 cannons would be potent. Do we go double war drum? Does double drum even make much sense? You're usually in a pretty defensive formation. I'm just not sure. Can you have one drum beating the attack and the other one beating like the thing for defense? Does that work? If it does, then double drum might make sense. Let's try it and see what happens. Okay, well, we've improved the other armies. We no longer need these extra units here. They're just eating up
Celestial General.
upkeep costs, so we're just gonna disband them. There's nothing else that we need to grab from them at the time. So there we go. We got our money back. And we've net gained an army anyway because we got Miao Ying. And we're gonna pull her over to the other gate. Snake gate. We're at a tier 4 gate here, and is that where I was building my... Oh, we already have artillery over here, actually. Let's actually tear this down. Nangao. We got income at Nangao. Specialty building, but we have to be up at tier 5 to unlock that. I want to have access to all kinds of recruiting here, ultimately. Longma riders are good, but not a critical concern for me here. Oh, there's the pottery. We probably ought to... Always want to take advantage of our trade goods. That might be appropriate there.
Harmony and unity.
Let's see, so we got balance there. Need one of these buildings swapped to hit balance here. Let's see. Okay. Build that. I want to have more places to recruit the elite infantry. We can build our Longma riders and stuff from there too. Okay, let's see. Garrison Lord not move. That's understandable. I really need the better crossbows before I'm going to feel comfortable going up against the Chaos Dwarves. We really need armor penetrating crossbows. And they're going to be tremendously helpful. Now, Dragon Guard would be a lot better infantry too, but we'll see. There's only going to be so much of that we can afford to upkeep.
Leader of men.
Look at this, Noctilus has a couple more fleets potentially inbound. This army is not overly potent, so we may find ourselves in a bit of a struggle down here. Start improving our defenses. I'm waiting for one more steel to become available here. It's pending. If we can get that, then we can go ahead and get an increased token here. Super Ultra says he's playing Dark Elves and everybody hates them. Yeah, I mean, Dark Elves, they've got their work cut out for them right now, for sure. Like, they're going to have their work cut out for them early on in a campaign. I don't disagree with that at all.
Natural authority.
That is absolutely going to be true.
Driven by rage.
Okay, things are looking rather good, I believe. Okay, let's take care of our skill points. There's a Caravan Master, so let's do cargo capacity. Don't see any other skill points.
Upper hand, indeed.
You can dispatch a caravan. Let's find our most lucrative cargo route, which is going to be For the Reichland. Dispatched. There we go. I like the Dark Elves. They have always been an interesting, balanced faction with lots of fun leaders. They play fun in campaign. They've got brutally effective, like, missile units. They've got cool monster units. They've got cool lords. They've got good infantry units. They've got a decent bit of magic. Like, the Dark Elves are a pretty well-rounded faction. And then you add that to, like, the Black Ark thing that they have going on. Dark Elves are fun. Like, they've got a good, well-rounded nature to them, in my opinion. They've been a pretty good, well-rounded faction for a while. So I feel like that they are definitely fun to play. They are definitely up there in some of the factions that I really like.
I will make my ancestors.
Marcus says he started a High Elf campaign where he's got all the in-game scenarios going, except for Wood Elves and Dwarves. Empire got wiped out by Groms. Caven are going hog wild in the New World. Doing all those in-game scenarios is a little bit crazy, but it is also really fun. It is fun. This vampire army is making an end around to try and get to Shambletown. I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit more recruiting here. But yeah, I'm gonna let their army get to Shambletown. This army really ought to get some improvements.
I will not tolerate
This is not the most efficient vampire fighting force, but it'll do okay, given what we need to. But I'm gonna let them sneak up. They'll probably tear down Shambletown. I'll just rebuild it. So we got to get to Flayed Rock, which is over here, and Scrap Tower. So we'll bust our way through there. We'll make it happen. All right, what do we got going on here?
Celestial General.
Again, I'm kind of waiting here for the better crossbows. Like, I feel like I'm at the... I'm waiting because I need better crossbows. How long is it going to take this thing pending? Come on, get over here already. Available in 3 turns. I need that to get over there so I can get another token. But we've got our gate. It's going to be well defended. These armies are going to kind of be sitting until I feel like I'm ready to make that jump across the border. It is a big jump, one we don't want to make too early and too hastily. I don't really know what other building I want to build there yet.
General of the Celestial Host.
Ports. Still... we don't have the population for that either. What else do we gotta do around here?
First among warriors.
Alright, so... the Vampire Coast was able to bring in reinforcements. This army is not overly potent, so... I don't feel like I should really
Move upon my order.
get too ahead of myself here.
Take time to gain the enemy's measure.
We do have the Regiment of Renowned War Drum we could throw in that army. That will certainly help.
Loyal novices are better than uncertain veterans.
Don't have any... we have full allied unit capacity. What could we get here? So I've got 16 influence with the Exiles of Nehek. We could get a dang Scorpion, which would be nice. And there's some good units there. Oh, and a Shabti Greatbow. We need to pick up some more influence with the Exiles. A Shabti Greatbow would be an absolutely amazing pickup. Would be there. Like, I'd be all about that. Or not moved.
of the 8 winds.
Kind of intentionally not moving. Yeah, because of stuff like this. Like, I don't know how many vampires are hiding back there, and I want to have the ability to retreat if I need to. Building upgrades again. Alright, let's go ahead and end another turn here. feel like we've made pretty solid progress tonight. We picked up the Southern Sentinels, which was one of our objectives here. We now just have to make our way to the Star Tower, but we have to finish building the necessities. The Southern Sentinels, we have to build that geomantic network, or whatever it's called. Not geomantic, that's the lizards.
The dragon
Astromantic network or something like that. Astromantic relay. He's like, hey, I took your province, but I want to offer you a little bit of money and some peace. Well, I'll tell you what, no. You give back my stuff and you pack out of my land and don't ever set foot on it again. And while you're at it, like, go feed yourself to a shark. Like, I mean, what in the world makes you think I'm granting that? Like, what planet do you live on where I have any desire to give up a settlement to you, allow you a foothold in my territory after you attacked me, and only give me 2,000 gold for my trouble? Yeah, I mean, try again. Try again. Alright. So we did lose Shambletown, as expected, but we're just going to take it right back. This was intentional. They kind of self-sacrifice Shambletown. And it was so that I could catch Gorst and kill him again. So, appreciate you, Gorst.
Celestial Empire, ever grow.
Which unfortunately sets Shambletown back a little bit in terms of its growth, but what I'm going to do next, actually, is back up just a little bit here, and I'm going to set an ambush up and see if any of those vampire armies are dumb enough to come up across our ambush. Haunted Forest is coming along nicely. It takes a long time to build stuff here. Still waiting on that steel token to drop there, and it's taking its sweet, sweet time. I need to stabilize this area a little. Let's stabilize it so that I'll be able to move away for a time and not lose all my territory to rebellions.
We are in need.
Kind of build up some of my capabilities back here.
General.
There we go.
Sir,
Alright, so Great Turtle Isle is extremely slow to replenish.
humility in all things.
I just don't know what, if anything, I can do. I could build this and start recruiting some decent troops here. Probably be the next bit. We'll hold these guys in and I'll start recruiting some better troops. And then we'll take care of them. Otherwise, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it for tonight. I'm pretty much out of time. I've been going for almost 2.5 hours. I had a great time. I hope you all enjoyed it. So episode 13 was productive. We gained the short victory. We are close to being able to build the astromantic relay at Southern Sentinels. As soon as that gets underway and we protect that settlement from the impending lizard invasion, then we're going to move on to the Star Tower. That will be our last objective. Once we finish all that, we should be able to get to where we fight a final battle. So I would say we're probably a couple of episodes away from being able to put this one away in a pretty fun fashion. But before I put it away, too, I do want to get the right units and go fight a big battle against the Chaos Dwarves, just because we can. And then, like I said, finish the work with Yuan Bo here, which is going to take us, to the Star Tower, which is owned by Itza. Well, remember how I was hoping I didn't have to fight 1,000,000 lizards? Guess what? We're gonna have to fight 1,000,000 lizards. So, our cold-blooded slaying is not over yet. I'll see you all next time, and we're gonna have to think about how we're gonna handle good old Gorok. So, this is gonna be fun. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all Thursday. Make sure you come back. Rome 2 live sub-commanders battles with Sol Invictus and the awesome group at the Gathering Stone. So it's already scheduled on my channel if you want to go put a reminder up or save the link or whatever else you want to do. I hope to see you there.